The results are in for the election 2020, and I'm going to share with you what it looks like. It's time for some straight talk, Rockwall County. I'm Bunker Bob Steinhagen, and this is The Bunker Bob Show. Yes, the election is over, and in Rockwall County and the surrounding area of Texas, we have the results. And I know that a lot of you are aware of some of the results and what has transpired, but one of the things that I want to do is make sure that you understand what has happened here in Rockwall County. And I'm just going to very quickly make this a fairly quick show, because we're going to be focusing on what the key races for Rockwall County and what happened. So ultimately, it was a good night for Republicans, and ultimately we saw some good things. But the problem is, for Rockwall County, we lost some big races. And for those of you who are conservatives, those of you who are fellow Republicans, it was not a good night for three of our judicial seats. And I really want to pinpoint that and focus a little bit of time and attention on it. So what I'd like to do is start with the top, more top of the ballot. Obviously, Donald Trump won the race for president here in Rockwall County and, frankly, in Texas. But I want to go down to state U.S. Representative, State Senator Pat Fallon was the runaway favorite for Congress, the 4th District. Of course, that had some controversy for the way he was appointed to fill Ratcliffe's seat, but that was the rules, and it was the same process that put John Browning on the bench for the appellate seat. And there was no other alternative, no other way to do it. But some people took exception with it. Regardless, Pat Fallon, a conservative for sure, and I had him on the show. I was with him on election night, so if you saw that coverage, you know about that. And he won big. Tracy Jones, who was on the show, as predicted, he saw very little support, less than 0.5%, which is not a surprise. Justin Holland, of course, came through fine. He won the race both in Rockwall County. He was the runaway favorite, and in the entire State House district. So obviously, this is a solidly Republican area, and Holland is in a very safe place. The good news for the state of Texas is that we held on to control of the State House. This was an election where Democrats really put a lot of money into trying to take over the State House. And had they done that, that would have made a huge difference in redistricting, because then they would have been able to control how lines are redistricted. And we know how Democrats redistrict. It's called gerrymandering. And we are preventing that from happening by ensuring that the State House stays in Republican hands. So that's good news. Now for the bad news. Now, I wanted to focus on this, but one of the things that I'd like to do while I'm on the air is I'm going to do something I don't usually do, and that is that I'm going to change the way I project what's on the screen. And so very quickly, let me basically mirror my monitor so you're seeing what I'm seeing in the display. And there's a reason for that, because I want you to see how the difference in how Rockwall County votes versus how the rest of the state votes. And so if you look at this, and let me go to the screen, and I'm sorry, I'm in my Keynote file, which is what I use to project a lot of the things that you see on screen. So this is the Keynote file. You can see where we have 3 races, Fifth Court of Appeals, in 3 different places, 3, 6, and 8. And in the statewide or in the district, which is largely made up of Dallas County, you can see we lost 3 seats. We had actually, it shows John Browning is not, that there was no incumbent, but that seat, you have to understand, was held by David Bridges before Browning took that seat. And what's important to understand about that is David Bridges had held that seat for quite some time, and we had control of the Fifth Court of Appeals until election night. And that has now changed. We now see how the Democrats are infiltrating our state, and this is what happens. So, and to put that in perspective, let me just show you how Rockwall County voted on these races. And if I can find, there we go. This is Rockwall County's, how Rockwall County voted. So if you, let me go down. There we are. We're looking for the Fifth Court of Appeals, State Board of Education. By the way, I'm on these races. Just so you know, all of the state Supreme Court, all the railroad commissioner won. Everything that we in Rockwall valued. We got our railroad commissioner. Chief Justice is a Republican, although I'm not a big fan of the state Supreme Court, even though there are Republicans. A lot of squishes on there, and we can talk about that. I'll talk about that on another show. But Justice of the Supreme Court, we've got Jane Bland took a seat. Jeff Boyd, Brett Busby. So these are all of those seats. And so now when we go to the State Board of Education, we won that. Obviously, Justin Holland kept that. So here we go. So David Evans, you look at this. David Evans, 71%. John Browning, 72%. Bill Whitehill, 71%. And then when we go over to the results for the district, and with Dallas being added in, you can see the influence that Dallas has. Why is that important? It's important because our redistricting map is about to be redrawn, and Pat Fallon, our congressman, used to be Radcliffe was our congressman, but Pat Fallon was on the redistricting committee in the state Senate, and he's no longer on there. But one of the things that he keeps talking about is that he's going to do his best to keep Rockwall in the same basic district that we're in. What we expect to happen, however, is that Rockwall moves into the Dallas district, congressional district, which means the voice of Rockwall will absolutely go away. And if you think that we have the opportunity to have a Republican member of Congress, that is going to be short-lived. It will be almost impossible with Dallas County voting just overwhelmingly Democrat. It is a tough row to hoe. So I'll be watching how the state legislature and how the redistricting board of the state legislature. So there's different members who are on that committee, and that's something that we're going to keep an eye on, and I'll be reporting on as that moves forward. So that's an important issue for all of us here in Rockwall County, and it should concern. We really do need to keep an eye on all of those things. Now, moving down, we've got a lot of incumbents who were not challenged. With Rockwall County, the races that were specific to Rockwall County, obviously you're just going to go down the list and you're going to see Republican after Republican, from tax assessor, county commissioner, justice of the peace. Mark Russo is in another term. Dennis Bailey is in again. Again, you just kind of go down the list, and that's what you see. So the races that were nonpartisan, quote unquote, if you believe in that term, which I don't. The nonpartisan races, this is what we see. So In the City of Faith, place 2, Merle Jake Jacobson lost to John P. Brandt, and Sean DeMoe also lost. So John P. Brandt is the new councilman for place 2 in Fate, and that was obviously a close race. And Christopher Ashe is place 3 for the City of Faith. And for the proposition that basically gives Faith the right to build parks and trails, nature trails, things like that was very hotly contested. You can see that this is a less than 100 point difference or vote difference. This was a hot issue, and I think the reason it was so hot is because in the City of Fate, most of those people who live there are in these gargantuan developments. They already have their parks and walking trails, and so I can understand why so many people were against this. But again, if you're going to do something, if you're going to pass a bond, this is a bond election. If you're going to do that, this is the way to do it. Let the people vote. Just like when I was mayor of McLennan-Chisholm, and when the sales tax rate was considered, we let the citizens decide whether or not we wanted to raise the sales tax rate. So that because we believe in limited government, and the people should vote. And the City of Fate did a good job of letting the people vote, and I'm sure a lot of people were. Obviously, half of the people were happy and half were not. So we go to school board. Bobby Summers is there in Royce City. And then in place 2 in Royce City ISD, Christina Carrion won that race by a fairly good margin. This is the school board race that everyone was talking about here in Rockwall County, Rockwall Independent School District. Of course, I had 2 of the candidates who were willing to come on my show. Amy Hilton, who is a Republican and a conservative at that, and a great representative for Rockwall Independent School District. Mr. Gober also came on my show. And both did a great job of expressing and explaining their positions on issues. I made sure that all the candidates received a copy of the questions in advance so they could determine whether or not they wanted to participate. But of course, Peter Flores, the individual who is the Republican in name only, there's no question about that. Someone who is would not even answer my phone calls to come on the show, would not even respond to my emails. And despite the fact that he had all of the questions, wouldn't even give me the time of day. And don't forget, I'm a Trump delegate, national delegate for this congressional district. And Mr. Flores is the treasurer of the Rockwall County Republican Party. So when I talk about rhinos, when I talk about the problem with our Rockwall County Republican Party, why don't you start with this Peter Flores guy who loves to play Republican, but when it comes to really having to face issues, is completely unwilling to do so. I am so glad that Amy Hilton won in light of that. And I just want to say one thing about Amy Hilton. Great candidate, first of all, but a great person, a mom who sincerely cared about these issues. Mr. Flores didn't attend the RISD board meetings. Mrs. Hilton did. In fact, Mrs. Hilton would give updates on Facebook so that parents would understand what's going on. What I loved about Amy Hilton's campaign was not her beautiful brochures that you got in the mail. No, what I loved about it was, and I visited every polling place in Rockwall County just to see what was going on. At every location where she was on the ballot, Amy Hilton had someone there, a mom, typically, with a sign that said Amy Hilton. And I stopped and said, why are you doing this? And every one of them said, because we believe Amy would be a great representative for us. Well, Rockwall County, I think you've got a great representative in Amy Hilton. So congratulations to her and to all of those who helped her campaign. We moved down, obviously, Stephanie Adams unopposed. Councilmember Place 1, City of Rowlett, is Blake Margulies. One fairly close race there. Councilmember Matt Grubishish. I butchered that name. I apologize, Matt. Pamela Bell, they were both unopposed. In the city of McLennan Chisholm, Valerie Bodart lost to the incumbent Keith Short, of course, the mayor who doesn't attend city council meetings, hasn't been there for a couple of months. Last time I've seen him attending a full city council meeting has been, I don't remember when. Someone who is a true empty suit, but he's a police officer, and which I support police 100%. But he is a true empty suit. Knows nothing about what he's doing. Lets the city staff run the city, and city of McLennan Chisholm, where I live, had the opportunity to have a full-time mayor, somebody who had the time to actually be at City Hall during the day and serve the citizens. But citizens, the Sonoma Verde contingent, the group of liberals, there's a huge contingent of liberals in Sonoma Verde. When I drove through Sonoma Verde, I was shocked at all the Biden signs. It's become clear we've got a lot of people moving in from out of state who love their big government, and Keith Short is the guy to do it. He is leading the city to big government, and frankly, there are times where you gotta go, just. You kind of got to say, well, and just shut up, and I mean, I'm talking about myself, that I just need to kind of shut up. The people have obviously spoken. They like big government. They like higher taxes, and they like all of the amenities that all of the other cities have. They don't care about the open spaces and more rural lifestyles as some of us care about. And so, frankly, I just say, okay. The irony about all of this is, for me and my wife and my family, the higher taxes, raising the tax rate, is not going to affect me and my family very much at all. I mean, bring it on. That's fine. We just had hoped to, when I was mayor, I was trying to preserve our wide open spaces, limit the size and scope of government. Why? Because I'm a conservative, but people like liberals, and they certainly have a good liberal in Keith Short. And then but the good news for the city of McLennan Chisholm happens to be with this, place 4, Brian Davis, who was it was hard to find a conservative willing to run for this seat, and we found Brian Davis, and I'm glad that he's on, and that he did run, and that he won the race. And so at least the city of McLennan Chisholm has one conservative, just one. But hopefully the city of McLennan Chisholm will start to be actually deliberate issues out in the open and stop the behind closed doors deals that has been going on for the last several years. But bottom line, the citizens love big government. They love higher taxes. Guess what? The only thing I can say to those people in McLennan Chisholm is, you deserve the government that you elect. Enjoy it. Enjoy your big government and higher taxes, because that is what's coming. So that is McLennan Chisholm. Then we have board of directors for Bear Creek SUD, and Michael Dillon won that just by 3 votes. So, when people say that your vote doesn't count, well, clearly it does in that sense. Mayor Wiley was unopposed, as was Councilmember Place 5. But Place 6, Garrett Mize edged out Eric Russell, and so that was a close race, and congratulations to Garrett. Dave Strange is also edged out Tom Ambrose, and then the measure that the Proposition A won by a fairly big margin, as did Proposition B and C and D and E and F. I mean, all of these propositions are things that I had not paid much attention to, and I guess I'll check that out at some point in the future. But hopefully, I can get someone from one of these from Wiley to come on the show and kind of explain what these propositions were all about, and what the purpose of them was, and so that citizens can better understand what happens there and why. So we'll be extending an invitation to several new elected officials. Obviously, Congressman-elect Pat Fallon is going to be a presence here on this show. He obviously hit the ground running already, and he's looking forward to being here and being able to give updates on it as frequently as he can. So look forward to that, and you can look forward to that as well. So that is basically the long and short of what has gone on here in here in Rockwall County, and I think that basically wraps up all of the races that I was looking at, and that interests me, or actually that interests the citizens of Rockwall County. And so that is, and let me make sure that I've got everything down. It looks like I do. And so yes, everything is down, and that's your report. So I hope that's been helpful to you, and I hope that you'll tune in next time. We'll be focusing on other issues as well. So please don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Hit the notification bell so that you can be alerted next time that I am doing a show, and that you can understand what's happening here in Rockwall County. I'm going to do my best to try and give do more shows that really look at the greater Rockwall area and some of our neighboring counties, because I've got a lot of feedback and a lot of connection with people who are in those counties. So I'm looking forward to getting some of those people on, and maybe bringing them into the fold, and maybe they can create their own shows for their counties, and maybe help. What I'd like to do is help them do that as well. So if you're watching this from another county, you're interested in doing your own show, I'd love to help you get that set up. But for those of us in Rockwall County, God bless you. I believe that Donald Trump will win. I think just wait, just be positive. Don't be negative. I think Donald Trump is going to be our president for another 4 years. Oh, and by the way, I'll do a follow up on the poll the show that I did with the polls are wrong. So we'll see you next time. Have a great day.